Ridgely Brode, and I own a fashion PR firm in New York City, and I have a blog that I work on as well. So I have two businesses that I'm working on, and I'm trying to build an Isagenix business at the same time. Like Penny, my hours are pretty much 9 to 5 every single day, Monday through Friday, and then I have the Isagenix and the blog that I sort of fit into the pieces of my day, and my family and the dogs and the cats and the kids and the husband. So for us, it's about trying to figure that out. So with that, we're going to go into the first thing about how to build your Isagenix business while working full time.
So we talked to different people. We looked up some things that other successful business people had suggested. And we kind of came up with some key points. We don't feel like this is exhaustive, but this was where we wanted to start. So the first one is time management. And interestingly enough, Amanda has already talked about this in the call that you all were just on, if you were on it. But blocking out time is really important. So you look at your week ahead of time and you look to see what kind of holes you have, or you create holes, and you plan your blocks. So things like family time, Isagenix call times, when your training calls are, things like that, and you block it out. I use a Google Calendar that I share with my husband, so he's able to see when I've blocked out time, and that helps. And then using timers for things like Facebook and Instagram, so you don't get sucked in and you, without even realizing it, you've spent an hour and a half there and you haven't really done anything.
Next up, we have, I'm not sure how to mute everybody on this. Does someone know how to do that? Sorry. I don't know if it was a little confusing hearing everything. So our next slide is discipline and intentional behavior. And it's about sort of planning and thinking about your day in advance. So getting up early to begin your day before everything and sort of being ready and planned, having a good routine, whether it's you're exercising first thing in the morning or you're meditating or you're maybe you check your Instagram for half an hour and do your Facebook for half an hour, and then you move on to the next thing, and you're just doing one thing at a time. You're not sort of multitasking. You're really focused on that one thing so that you're doing it quickly and you're moving on to the next thing. I find that I kind of get distracted, so this is really important for me, trying to do one thing at a time, because I sort of jump around, and I think that's how you can not be as efficient as you should be.
We found that it's also really important to have goals, really look at your self-talk, and really look at training. So perfecting your internal dialogue is extremely important, whether it's one of the girls that I'm in the 365 with, she writes down an affirmation at the top of her matrix page, which I think is brilliant. Some people have things hanging like in the bathroom that they see all the time. They train themselves to, when they're getting ready to make a call, that it's an enrollment call, and being excited that this person's about to sign up. Meditating is important. Practicing gratitude is also really important. And then knowing your strengths and developing your weaknesses. So, you know, again, this talk right here, this is way outside Ridgely and my comfort zone. We've never done this. And we picked a topic that we need to strengthen, so that we could take one of our weaknesses and make it stronger. It's also really helpful to look and seek out training from the people that are successful, so that we can learn from them.
Another big important thing for us to do is talk to your family and make sure they understand what your goals are and what you are trying to accomplish by working in Isagenix, or, you know, balancing that with your family and your other I have a fly, your other main source of income. I think if they understand that you are going to be bringing in a second source of income and that your time is really important to it and you're focusing on it, then they will appreciate knowing where and how you're going to be doing that work. So as Penny was saying, she blocks out time with her husband and with her kids and make sure that they know that there's a date night coming up or a family night coming up or a meal. My kids are away at school, so I don't have them, but I have a husband who is so sick of me looking at my phone and the computer 24 hours a day that I really have to put it down and focus on him during meals and when we have time together. So I think that's really important.
Setting boundaries. I think we all have to learn what to say no to, and that saying no is okay. I think turning your phone off at a set time each night. I have to do that. I let my people know that I'm not available after a certain time. They don't need to know what I'm doing. I'm just not available. But that has really helped my husband not resent what I'm doing. In fact, today, it's funny, I had blocked out time for Isagenix, and he was calling me to confirm what time I would be done with Isagenix tonight because we have some things we need to do. So it's a mutual respect. He's respecting what I'm doing because I'm respecting his need to know when I'm going to do that. I think it's also helpful if we really look at not getting sucked into activities that don't really produce income. Lots of people are going to want you to come to their network marketing thing that they're doing, or I'm very involved with my church. I'm very involved with a group that I do bike riding with. So I have to balance everything and make sure that I know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and that I am actually spending time on business generating activities. Usually my screen just left.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I don't have the slide up anymore.
Okay, sorry. I was listening. Here we go. Thank you for telling me that. Is it back?
Sure. Yeah, it's back.
Sorry,
And then,
thank you.
that's fine. And
Glitch in the.
it's okay.
Okay, we're back.
And then I pick one training call a week because there's a training call every night of the week. And I was getting really overwhelmed, and I kind of had to give myself permission to just pick one a week. I'll grow as much as I can with those, and that's going to be okay. And that's going to have to be enough. So there are times when, like, I've had a couple enrollment calls that either they weren't available or I don't know, anything, something fell through, and all of a sudden I had, an hour there that I didn't know I was going to have. Well, then I jumped on and I did another training call that I'd heard that was really good. So, obviously you can be flexible, but I think we have to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing.
Goal setting. Well, this is a big one for me, and I had a tough day today with Isagenix, and it sort of turned itself around. So I definitely think this should be my slide today. It's about vision casting and making sure you have a vision board and you put it out there in sort of the universe of what you are looking to gain and what your business is going to be about. I have been sabotaging myself lately, and so positive self-talk I think is really, really important, and I'm learning that more and more every day. And luckily I have a great team who's been lifting me up and making sure that I stop the madness and I concentrate on what I can do and not what I can't do. So putting those goals everywhere. I started to put Post-its tonight when I got home, like in my underwear drawer and my mirror in the bathroom, just saying, what my goals are and what I should do, and what I want to accomplish, today, tomorrow, and in the future. So definitely, I don't know how to mute that. I'm sorry. On my machine, sorry. I'm new to Zoom. And then something really important is no goal is sort of ever done. There's always going to be something.
Did you include any celery?
Can I ask whoever isn't muted to please
Celery?
mute themselves? Somebody's talking about celery, and we need you to mute yourself.
Ridgely,
Thank you.
if you click on participants, since you're logged in as Dawn,
okay, I can.
you can click unmute. Mute all.
I don't have that. I have mute me.
Okay, maybe Dawn has it because Dawn's on as well.
I think Dawn needs to do it because she's the one who logged in. Yeah. Dawn, can you mute everybody?
Sorry.
I got it. Go ahead. I'll get it.
Thank you,
Thank
Josh.
you.
Sorry about that. So for me, oh, sorry, went to the wrong stream. So for me, I'm sorry, I lost train of thought. So future thinking, our goals are not set, that's it. There's another goal coming. There's another place we need to go. There's something next month that we want to achieve. I was looking at my cycles and I was like, oh, I want one more cycle this month. I had, 8 and I want 9. So why shouldn't I make that my goal? And maybe the next month it's going to be 20. I don't, let's shoot for the sky. But so I think it's always about looking forward and then figuring out what's going to sabotage you, what is going to trip you up, what is going to be the thing that is hard for you. So thinking of ways how to have a solution in place so when something goes wrong or something doesn't work your way, that you know how to handle it. Like I know I can go to my team leaders and say, okay, I'm having a huge problem. Someone went to Amazon today and bought their pack and they didn't go to me. How do I handle this? Because I had a total meltdown. So next time I know what to do and I know how to handle it and I know how I'm going to talk to my team and how I should rearrange how I speak and talk to the people. So for me, that was a big thing. And I think knowing what your boundaries are and what your skill set are, and relying on other people who have better skills in those areas. For instance, like Penny was really good at coming up with the ideas and the thoughts for this, and I helped build the PowerPoint. So it's about using your strengths and the people around you's strengths to be making that vision happen and your goals. So that was that for that. And then we wanted to have a little section to get your help. And I think Denise was going to pop in and give some thoughts until we get to our questions.
Awesome. And Ridgely and Penny, what a great presentation. You guys really hit on the most important parts of how to do this while working full-time. I started Isagenix in 2010 and I was working full-time. After 3 years of doing this part-time, I was able to retire from teaching. And I'll tell you, just like Amanda said in our earlier call today, it's all about planning. Going to work, if you're not working in your home, going to work knowing where every pocket of your day is. Is it your lunch break? Is it your ride in? Is it your planning or prep time? Is it your ride home? Knowing ahead of time who you're going to reach out to in those pockets. You can't, get to the day and say, because that's going to waste your time. You have to use every minute that's available to you. That's so important, the planning ahead. A lot of us on the call are going to see Tony Robbins in August at Celebration. And one of the things that is just cemented in my head from him is your power hour. And that's when you wake up in the morning. If you have to set that alarm an hour earlier because you don't have enough time in the morning, do it. That power hour is when you gather your thoughts. It could be your hour that you're exercising. It could be that hour where you're expressing your gratitude and setting your intentions for the day, getting into your power zone. So that's something that I found really worked for me, and it still does. From the moment those feet hit the floor in the morning, that's so important to set your intentions for the day. I also want to touch on family, because as you guys were reading the slide about family, there were a lot of people in the chat commenting. And I do want to share with you that that was really a struggle for my family. And it's communication. We're all new to this, right? We're new to network marketing. We're new to trying to balance our families and our full-time jobs while helping people get healthy. So things are changing, right, in our normal lifestyles. So it's about communicating with our children and our husband, letting them know what doesn't serve us anymore. In my case, I used to sit on the couch while they watched sporting events, or I would sit on the couch and watch, reality TV out the wahoo. That wasn't an income generating activity for me. So while I enjoyed the company of my family, I didn't really necessarily enjoy what we were watching. So that's when my laptop appeared. Okay, so that was a sore spot. We had to talk about it. Using your phone. I was very, very guilty of that as well. But, you know, my kids would beg me, Mom, you know, please don't bring your phone in, or Mom, don't talk to people in the restaurant. It embarrasses us. My husband used to say the same thing. Do you really need to bring your phone? So I, you know, made that quality time. And the funny thing is, guys, and you'll see this, when you really do start to generate some nice income, they're going to say, Mom, you can bring your phone, or honey, you don't need to leave your phone in the car. What if you get an important call, right? Because they're starting to see the benefits of why you're on the phone or why you're on your laptop. So it does change, but it won't change if you don't have that communication with your family about that. See what else I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the goal setting slide and how, you know, it's never, it's not like we set a goal and, oh, I reached the goal, I'm done, right? You guys know that. It's what's next. All right, I enrolled 5 people, I'm going to get $200. I'm not going to sit back because I want the 8. I want the free hotel room, right? Get the 8. Are you going to sit back? No way. Not when I can get 10 and I can meet Jim and Kathy Coover. It's always something. Whether you're striving to reach a benchmark in a leadership pool this week, what about next week and next month? Whether you're trying to get that 10 cycle bonus, what about next week? So always setting those goals and celebrating them, but not taking the foot off the pedal. We always have to keep that foot on the pedal. We can coast sometimes, but we always have to make sure we're there and we're ready to accelerate if we need to get to those goals. So I hope that that was helpful for you guys, my portion, but I'll tell you, you guys nailed it. What an awesome presentation with really good points. And I'm glad that this is being recorded. Thank you.
So now we wanted to put it out to the group because I know there are a lot of people here that do work, and we did touch on this earlier about, oops, sorry, I don't know how that happened. I got out again. Something is going wrong with my screen. Sorry. Oh, is it coming up or no? No.
Ridgely, while you do that, I want to remind Denise, she told us something yesterday that kind of rocked my world that I loved. That I think when you work full time, it's really important that you have somebody in your upline that you are connected with and that you can connect the people you enroll with. And if that somebody in your upline, it doesn't work, that's very helpful. That was kind of an aha moment for me. I hadn't really thought about that. And actually was able to employ that today with one of my enrollees who she also works full time. So, I mean, the chances of us connecting are sometimes hard because of our schedules. So connecting her up with somebody else that isn't always working would be helpful to her as well. So I was like, that's brilliant.
Thank you, Penny, for refreshing my memory. You're absolutely right. We did talk about that. And a lot of us on our team have been doing the 3-way texting. So for example, Ridgely just had a new enrollment and we're on a text together, the 3 of us, because suppose Ridgely is at work and she needs to know, oh my gosh, can I have this cup of coffee, right? I'm more available. I'm not working full time, so I can hop in. Getting on a 3-way text with an upline member who is available more than you is also a learning experience. So if they ask a question and you may not know a response or you may not know the answer, having that upline member who has a little bit more experience can answer. And then you just learned. Just like on our 3-way calls, we're learning. The same can happen when we do the 3-way texting. Thanks, Penny.
Sure.
I totally agree. And the other thing I find is that if you're a new consultant, or like what I've been when I was new, I wouldn't think that I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't know I could contact someone, but you kind of aren't sure who's the right person, and you sort of ask around. And I needed someone for, Sue was great because I needed someone who was very athletic, who knew all the AMP lines. So it's definitely about asking questions and not being nervous about that with your team. Who's available, who can help, who wouldn't mind jumping on and helping. But we're going to bring this question up to the group, and we've been talking about it a lot tonight in the earlier call and even just this evening in this call, about balancing time on Facebook and not wasting your time. And how do we do all this? And if anyone has any suggestions other than blocking out time or putting timers, is there a best way to handle social media and not getting sucked into the vortex of just playing and watching it?
Hey, Ridgely, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know why my camera's not working. My computer is being weird. But one thing that I did one weekend, I had like a really, really big push week where I had talked to Drew and I was on my phone a lot. And I kind of said, hey, you know what? This weekend, I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm not going to schedule a call. And he was really on board with that. And I think, I had my phone for texting purposes and calling, but I was not on social media at all over a weekend. And so I think a little bit of like a weekend detox could possibly be good for you if you do feel like it's difficult for you to get yourself out of it. Because at times I have that problem. It's like the endless scroll or missing, all these group chats that I feel like I'm a part of. And it's like, when I was working, obviously I'm off right now in the summer, but as a teacher, I do not look at my phone during the day. Besides prep period, I don't have time. I teach 7 and 8 year olds. Like I don't look at my phone. So I felt like that little like kitty cat, someone posted that one picture where the cat was like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling like crazy trying to catch up in the group chat. And I just got overwhelmed and shut down. So I think in order for that not to happen, maybe you do need to give yourself time to just say, okay, it's okay if I miss this. Because a lot of us are overachievers.
Definitely
That's awesome.
overachievers. Is there anyone else who has something? Because we have another question for the group. So I think we have about 7 minutes. We could get to the next question because we've done a lot on Facebook. So this is our final.
Can I say something, Ridgely?
Of course, Dawn.
I know that one of the things that I need to focus on, because when we're doing our 10-4-1 and we're constantly posting out, right? And we're like, I feel like a lot of times a lot of us are broadcasting out, and I know that for me, I need to make sure that I take the time to go and seek out the people that aren't necessarily showing up in my feed, but that I still want to be, because once you're broadcasting out, everybody, like the team is liking your post, that's who tends to show up in your feed constantly. So if you want to be, I have to be intentional about going and seeking out and liking posts for people who aren't necessarily showing up on my feed, so that it's not just me broadcasting out. Does that make sense?
Total sense. It does. So, making sure that those people are getting some love that might not necessarily know you're there or something, just checking in.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I'll pick 10 or 20 people who I want to either warm up the relationship, or that I want to start talking about Isagenix or whatever it is, and I'll make sure, I'll be very intentional about making sure that I'm liking and commenting on their stuff specifically in the course of my very time to get in and get out on Facebook and don't get sucked into the vortex. That's it.
That was great. No, I think you're right. And it's not just, I think you have to look inside too and find those people and talk to them and check in. Oh, happy birthday, or whatever it might be for that day, that are not necessarily Isagenix people. But this is a big thing. Our next question, our last question is how to balance coaching and business building. I find that, and that harkens back to what we were talking about just a minute ago with Denise, using your upline and using the coaches in the team. But I was spending hours in my morning just single texting people. Hi, how's your day? How's your cleanse? Do you need any help? And I would be texting 15, 20 people at a time. And at the end I was like, okay, and whether they're responding or they're not responding, or they're responding back to me, and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to coach people and also build my business when I have an hour a day to do Isagenix? How do we do that? and how do we get support? Or maybe you guys have some tips on better techniques.
Well,
Hi.
Ridgely, if I could go ahead and share what we talked about the other day, a shortcut that Carrie actually showed me one time on an airplane, she hooked me up big time, is when we're texting people and let's say they're on day 4, instead of texting out the same thing that you would say to someone on day 4, you know, like you're burning 80% fat today, burn baby burn, whatever you may say, there's a shortcut that we can use on our phones. So instead of typing all those words out, if you just type day 4, your generated text already comes up. And we have one for day 4, we have one for day 5, we have one for auto ship, because they're always asking, hey, why do I have auto ship? I didn't, whatever, sign up for that. Or they're asking about coffee. We have a generated text for coffee. So when they ask if they're allowed to have coffee, we just type in coffee and then our response comes up. So if you guys are interested in learning how to do that, I can... Right. I can walk you through it, but I'm happy to see that Carrie is on the line too, because Carrie is the one that showed me how to do it. So this is for your iPhone.
Is it an app? What is it? It's just so fabulous. It's awesome.
It's in your iPhone. I'm not sure about the other, like Samsung and all those, but if you go to settings and then you go to general, and we can put this up on the page after the call. And then you go to keyboard. Then you go to text replacement. And it asks you to type in the text that you want and then your shortcut. So you could type in day 5. And then for the text, it would say something along the lines of, congratulations, you've made it through the 4 most challenging days. Can't wait to hear how you're doing. Please share your results. That's typed in. You don't have to retype it. You don't have to copy and paste anything. Carrie?
Yeah, I love it.
Am I covering that correctly?
Yeah,
Pretty sure
that's
how we
awesome.
do it.
The best one is just make like a value pack shortcut, and it lists everything that you need for your new enrollment. So you don't have to type it out every time, like name, address, phone number, what flavors they want. It's just right there. Love it.
Time saver. I mean,
Total time saver.
Okay, I need to figure that out when I'm not on this call. But yes, this is great. We should definitely put those directions up for everybody. I think that's so cool. Do you have to type all that out the first time, obviously, and then it saves it?
Well, one time I did a call. Maybe I can find it, Denise, because I think we all took turns. Like if somebody had one made already, if you just said shortcut, coffee, and then you listed it, then you could copy and paste. So you could copy it, and then we could all share,
What you said.
That would be great.
Okay, that's awesome. Does anyone have any other great tips for us that we can do to make our lives easier or make
I do. It's only for iPhone users, so this is not something I have personal experience with, but I know that a lot of people use it. It's an app called Hit 'em Up or Hit 'em App, right? And it allows you to do one-to-many texting. So if you're coaching a lot of people at the same time, or you have a message that you want to broadcast out to your team, like mocha shakes are up in your back office or whatever it is, you can use that app to communicate to a lot of people simultaneously, but the way that it looks to them, you're just communicating with them. It's almost like a blind CC or like a BCC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so you can, if you have a lot of people who all started at the same time, like I know Diana just had like 6 people start at the same time, right? She could, if she was using Hit 'em Up, she could say, OMG, cleanse day number 4, this is crazy. How are you feeling? You made it this far, whatever. And then that would broadcast out to all the people that she designated that are in that distro group, if you will.
That's great. One of the things that Jen Shook and I did with Julie is we did a push and we enrolled a bunch of people at the same time. We called it an active lifestyle challenge. Tara's done this, Tara and Amanda. And so you basically take people through the first 14 or 21 days or whatever, and you do it all on Facebook. You create a separate Facebook page group for them. And so for me, with working full time, that I never could imagine starting 6 people at once without that. I don't know how I would do it, but it was all on the Facebook. And so we put all the files up and coach them through, we pick certain days that they're all going to cleanse and just really walk them through and do most of it on Facebook. So that has been a game changer for me.
Another thing is, I'm surprised no one mentioned this yet, Marco Polo. You can create groups on Marco Polo. I have my right-sided leaders, I have my left-sided leaders in separate groups. And if I want to get like something relayed to my leaders, you can create as many groups as possible. I use Marco Polo all day long. If you don't know this, which a couple of you know this, I sat next to one of the millionaires at Top Achievers, one of the top millionaires, and she says that's all she uses to communicate with her team. And she showed me. She has lots of groups and she knows exactly where they are. So like, for example, I have like a me, Penny, and Cheryl group. I have all my right side group. I have a me, Amanda, and Bev group. And that's the way I communicate. And when you do Marco Polo, it's visual. So they get to see you. They get to hear the excitement. And you can do that with your cleansers too. You can do, if you're having 6 people starting the same day, and you can put them all in Marco Polo and communicate through there. I use it a ton. Use it a ton.
I can tell you, Tara, that I saw almost more of you than I wanted to in Banff. Tara was in between things and she was in her bathrobe, and so it was kind of fun.
That's a great tip. That's a really great tip. And Tara,
I had to tell this story. I got the email while I was naked that the new shakes were coming out, and I am so dedicated to my team that I did not even put clothes on to relay the message about the new shakes. So that was the story behind that one. That's a true story.
well, that was great. I think we had a really good call and I learned a lot. I guess the only other question that I think is sort of strange that we didn't bring up is, what if someone's not on Facebook? Did anyone hear me?
Yeah, we're all stunned.
I mean, I have a few cleansers that are not on Facebook. So
That's where Marco Polo comes in great. That's where texting, those texts come in great.
yes.
There's a lot of people not on Facebook, so you have to make it personal. A lot of people built their business without Facebook in the beginning. So just, you have to make it personal and use, there's definitely other tools out there that you can use for sure, but making sure that you remember them, because it can be hard to forget people that are not on Facebook because they're not in your face all the time. So write them down whenever you're scheduling your days out. Make sure you write those people at the top of your page so that you can make sure that you remember them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, that's
Thank
a good
you.
point.
Well,
Yeah, I agree. Those people that are not on Facebook get kind of lost. Like, oh, it's been 2 weeks and I totally forgot about so-and-so. And then you message them and they're like, oh, I thought you forgot about me. Also, I think Team Inspiration has maybe I'm wrong. You have your own website.
yes.
Amanda and I are working on creating a Healthy Balanced Families website, so that for people that are enrolled that are not on Facebook and can't be part of our groups, it's going to be a website that has everything on it. Meals, snacks, cleanse, it's going to have everything on it. So if you have access to some type of website, that would work too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Penny, for being a great contributor.
Oh, thank you.
And I guess we'll say goodnight because we've really overpassed our half hour. I think we've gone 5 minutes over. So we did okay for the first one. Yay.
Thanks, everybody.
I have something to say. You guys did a fantastic job. This was a great call. The chat has been going nonstop. I don't know if you've been monitoring the chat, but there's
I can
been
only
a
do one
lot
thing at once.
What's that?
I can only do one thing at once.
No, well, so you've been getting affirmation and congratulations and oh my gosh, I never thought of that, and what a great idea, and what a great, you got a lot of accolades. So I'm going to just talk for a couple minutes so you and Penny can scroll up through all of the chat and read it, because you got a ton of positive feedback. So I think that like, hats off to you girls, because you said this was out of your comfort zone and you did an amazing job, and you actually brought to the table a lot of concerns that people had that maybe we hadn't touched on recently, or now this texting thing that Denise and Carrie have been doing has come out. And so it's great. I mean, it was a great call. I think so. Just so everybody knows the call formats for the future, we are going to include a recognition piece. So we're going to have to cram a lot into our 30-minute time slot and be mindful of sticking with the 30 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up now, but I just wanted to say congratulations, you guys. This was amazing. And I think it was a really important topic. And I think there are a lot of people who thought they were alone in the struggle with their husband or with their family and trying to balance all of that. And I think that hearing that it's almost universal and most spouses really aren't supportive until, maybe that the money starts coming in a little bit. I think it's really helpful to hear that you're not alone in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks a bunch. And Genevieve, are you on? Who's up for next week and what's our call topic? Do you have that in front of you?
Yeah, I don't have to have it in front of me. We have Erica, the three of them together, Nicole and Diana, and they are doing how to do a push week, like how to prepare for one, how to do the preparing for it, the rolling out of it, and then the follow-up.
Fantastic.
Yep. And then the week after that, just so that we have it on July 5th, is going to be me and Dr. Kathy Hilwar, Abigail Doodle, on Talking with Doctors.
Super.
Yep.
Okay, thanks everybody. Let's be mindful of time, and we're going to get off the phone. I did record it, and so I will get that recording turned around tomorrow. Right now I'm going to bed. It's like 3 a.m.
Hi, Dawn.
Okay.
Good night, Dawn.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much.
Come on, still here.
Goosebumps.